We're back with Lawrence Hill. His book, Blood, The Stuff of Life, is stunning. It really is. I know I keep acting surprised about that, but, you know, how much is there to know about blood? Well, a whole bunch. How about tainted blood, blood doping?
Well, I am amazed by how profoundly we seem to care about cheating in sport. When you think about it, Lance Armstrong and his cronies are riding around bicycles in the mountains of France. Why do we get so worked up about their blood doping? But we really care. And Lance Armstrong could have murdered 12 people and would have had less media attention than if he'd played with the quality of his blood by doping. At one moment in the Tour de France, he and his cronies are in a bus that they pretend is broken down at the top of a mountain, and all 9 or whatever teammates are lying on the floor of the bus getting blood bags transfused into them right after a race, as doping agents and cops and media are whipping by them in their cars. They're all lying on a bus getting transfused right after riding up the mountain. Why do we care this much? In a nutshell, I think the reason the world was so appalled when the truth finally came out about Lance Armstrong and his blood doping wasn't just that he was a pusher, that he forced his lieutenants and his domestique, his riders, to do the same, but because he played with his blood. And we consider blood to be sacred, and we give it to save other lives. We don't take kindly to people who cheat with their blood. It drives us crazy. It gets to the very core of what we think is honesty.
And yet, at some point, if you're an athlete and it's your blood, does it seem as wrong as taking a drug, a steroid, an enhancer, because it's your blood?
Well, it might not seem as wrong, perhaps, to an athlete if they're wired that way, but it is as wrong in the eyes of doping agents and the media and people who judge. It's a form of cheating. To take blood out of your body, store it, and retransfuse it gives you an unfair advantage because you're modifying the composition of your red blood cells. You're artificially boosting your red blood cell count through medicine and science. So it is a form of cheating, even though it's your blood, and so it's banned.
Of course, and the bikers and doctors were ahead of the testers in some cases.
They usually are, yeah. They're usually several steps ahead. But it's a fascinating story of human response, and we really care about it. When we're changing blood to win millions of dollars or win the Tour de France, we find it a betrayal of everything we think is honest and noble about humanity. We give blood to save other people's lives, so we don't like people cheating with it.
No, it's a big bowl of wrong.
Well
Doc Sarah said that. He's a DJ. He calls things like that. A big bowl of wrong. What blood can tell us about us? Are you the father of this child?
Are you the father of this child? What did you smoke last night? How much did you drink? There's so much. What do you have in your medical history that might lead an insurance company to show you the door? There's so many things that blood can reveal. And sometimes blood is forcefully withdrawn by police or legal authorities in order to find out what's in it to get a conviction. So there's lots that blood can tell us.
Very much so. And to think that a tiny mosquito can make you that sick with malaria.
Malaria,
with
encephalitis.
A little bit of blood.
Absolutely, and it moves disease from one human to another. That's, I think, what's scary about malaria, that you're in one room or in one part of the city. I've never met you, and I never will. But that mosquito will bite you, fly over to me, bite me, and suddenly the malaria that was in your body is in mine. So you're communicating it to me by dint of a mosquito, and we've never even met or been in the same room.
When you did your research, and I know you had some help, you studied who invented the transfusion, for instance. Where did the idea come from?
It's a funny thing, you know. The first time that humans are actively working on transfusing blood is in the 1600s in France. And this French doctor grabs a psychotic man off the streets and binds him to a table forcibly in his medical facility and begins to transfuse the blood of a calf into the veins of this psychotic man, because this doctor believes, as others do, that the calf is a tranquil, inherently quiet, peaceful animal. So those tranquil genes in the calf will somehow calm down the man and rid him of his problems. It rid him of his problems, all right. It rid him of his life. You can't transfuse the blood of an animal into a human without killing the person. And so that was the first one of the first publicly documented transfusions. So the first ones are animal to human. Then they start trying human to human. Many people die there too until they discover in 1901 the notion of different blood types. And to transfuse safely from you to me, we have to have matching blood types.
Yes, and it's amazing that people don't know their blood type. They don't have any idea.
Well, many people don't have a reason to know if they haven't been sick, or if they haven't had to donate blood, or they haven't had to receive it, or if they haven't been pregnant. If you're pregnant, you'll want to know your blood type these days, because if your partner is a male and he's got a positive blood type and you have a negative, you could have problems with your fetus.
Of course.
And so there are some cases where it's quite important for a pregnant woman to know her blood type.
The Rh factor. And in the Talmud, I believe it says, I blood am the cause of all illness.
Yes, yes, it's so true. We fear blood just as we revere it.
How about the language around blood?
Well,
bloody hell.
Bloody hell. You have bad blood, so nobody should marry into your family. You're a cold-blooded murderer. Interestingly, when you want to really denigrate somebody, you turn their blood into something more animalistic. They no longer have the blood of a human. They have the blood of a reptile, cold-blooded. So there are so many figures of speech in our language about blood. I even challenge you to sit around a table for an hour and have a nice meal and not use a blood metaphor subconsciously.
It's true, isn't it? Like, he's a cold-blooded murderer. Honor killings.
Well, honor killings, they're about blood and they're also about control. I mean, you know, the thousands and thousands of women who've been killed as a result of honor killings are killed because usually a man wants to control, you know, their sexual or social behavior, and they're not, or they want to control who they marry. But I feel that in Canada and in the United States, domestic violence is our own version of honor killings. Let's be honest here. You know, hundreds and hundreds of women are killed in Canada too through domestic violence. That's a form of control. That's a form of men killing women because they're not doing what they want. So we have our own forms of honor killing, even though we call it domestic violence.
What astounded you in your research in studying blood, about blood?
Well, one thing is its elasticity. I mean, blood can change volume. You can lose a lot of blood and you grow it back. When you think about it, there aren't too many parts of your body that you can give over and over again, your hair perhaps, and then have it grow back. Blood is astounding in that it can save us. You're close to dying, you get a transfusion that saves your life. But if you get a transfusion and blood is tainted, it will kill you. So blood can both save us and kill us. So we're always walking on a razor's edge. Is this safe? Do we have to worry? Are we going to be okay? Will this save our lives, or will this put us 6 feet under? So blood has this ability to unite us or divide us, you know, save us or betray us. And that, for me, is astounding.
Yes, and the blood bank scandal, astounding, because we somehow assume that the medical establishment
knows what it's doing.
Knows what it's doing. The Red Cross always knows what it's doing. If anybody's giving me blood, especially in a hospital setting, it must be pure. And you've been there, and
well, much of the tainted blood that came into Canada and the States and the UK, Japan, other countries in the early 1980s came from a prison in Arkansas, where prisoners sold their blood. These are prisoners who had HIV, who were selling their blood, you know, for profit, and the prison was profiting. And this blood entered the Canadian blood supply and blood supplies in other countries. So that's astounding. There are many astounding things about blood. One thing that caught my interest was that in the Second World War, laws were passed making it illegal for blacks to donate blood to whites. So we not only segregated people, but we segregated their blood.
And men by gender, women by gender, gay men?
Yes. I think that the rules today saying that no sexually active gay man can donate blood are just as discriminatory as rules in the time of the Second World War saying that no blacks could donate blood to whites. They're rules that are not based on science, but they're based on social fears.
And prejudice.
Yeah.
And at a very base level, you and I go to the lab to have our blood tested. and some people simply can't watch it come out of their arm.
I can't. I mean, I don't faint or make a scene. I don't cause a commotion,
Right.
but I can't watch. I just turn my head. Maybe I read a magazine or something, or talk to the nurse while he or she is taking blood. I don't like to see the needle go in. I don't like to see the blood come out. I hear that little pop, pop, pop when they change the vials, and I'm hoping, is that the last pop? I hope so, because I'm tired of this. But no, I don't like to watch it. I don't like to watch blood leave my body.
I understand that, and you also hope they label it right.
Yeah.
What if it goes to the lab and somebody makes a mistake, a human error, and it's not my blood?
Exactly, and that seems like such a waste. Like, you don't want to waste your blood. If you're giving blood, whether you're donating to save a life or whether you're giving it to a lab so they can test it, it's like enraging to think, and mind-boggling to think that they could waste it. You don't want to waste your blood.
Well, because it's a map of us. And somebody comes back and says, unfortunately, you have cancer. It's in your blood.
It's a map of us, and we hold it sacred. It's the most sacred substance in our bodies. We don't have a relationship with blood that, say, we have with our saliva or with our livers or kidneys. Blood rises above every other part of our bodies, in our minds.
I thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a bloody good interview.
Hey, and you're a bloody good guy, too.